There is a comforting illusion people like to believe, that the future is decided loudly in elections, in debates broadcast on television, and in speeches delivered from podiums, that when something important is about to change, there will be warnings, discussions, and a chance to agree or disagree. But history does not actually work that way. The most consequential changes rarely arrive with announcements. They arrive quietly, embedded inside systems people barely notice until they can no longer live without them. No one voted for GPS to become essential to modern warfare. No public debate decided that software updates would control how millions of vehicles behave. No referendum approved the idea that private companies would determine who reaches orbit and who remains grounded. These shifts didn't happen because society chose them. They happened because they were built. Infrastructure does not ask permission. It does not wait for consensus. It does not slow down to match human comfort. Once it exists, the world reorganizes around it, and the moment dependence sets in, choice quietly disappears. Today, satellites decide how conflicts unfold before a single soldier moves. Algorithms shape markets before regulators can react. Private launch systems determine which nations have access to space and which must negotiate for it. This power does not sit inside parliaments. It does not wear military uniforms. It does not give speeches about responsibility. It operates silently, behind interfaces, inside networks, beneath everyday convenience. By the time people notice it, the system is already too integrated to remove. And this is where the story becomes uncomfortable. Because at the center of many of these systems is not a government, not an alliance, not a global institution. It is a single individual, not elected, not appointed, not bound by public mandate. A builder, someone who does not ask whether society is ready. Someone who believes that the future belongs to whoever constructs it first and lets the consequences unfold afterward. To some, he represents progress. To others, instability. To many, something far more dangerous than either. But history has never been shaped by people who waited to be understood. It has been shaped by those who moved early, built quietly, and forced the rest of the world to adapt. And in the modern era, few individuals have done this at the scale or speed of Elon Musk. Before we argue about whether his influence is good or bad, before we debate his personality, his politics, or his public behavior, there is a deeper question that must be answered first. How did one person gain this level of control over the systems shaping modern civilization without ever asking for permission? To understand that, we have to go back to a place far removed from rockets, algorithms, and boardrooms, a quiet house in a divided country with a child who does not quite belong. It is early morning in Pretoria. The city is already awake, but one house remains quiet. Inside, a child sits alone, reading, not because he has been told to, not because it is homework, but because this is where he feels most in control. Outside these walls, South Africa is rigid, tense, and unforgiving, a country structured by hierarchy, by race, by power enforced through systems that do not bend easily. This environment matters because environments do not just shape opportunity, they shape psychology. From an early age, Elon does not blend in. He is quieter than other children, more withdrawn, more focused. He is not interested in fitting into social structures. He is interested in understanding how structures work. While other children chase approval, he chases explanations. He reads constantly, science fiction, engineering manuals, encyclopedias, philosophy, stories where technology reshapes civilizations, where small groups outthink massive systems, where survival depends not on strength, but on understanding. These books are not escapism, they are training. At 10, he teaches himself computer programming. At 12, he builds a video game and sells it. But intelligence does not make him safe. School is brutal. Bullying is constant, physical and public. At one point, he is pushed down a flight of stairs and hospitalized. For many children, This would break confidence. For Elon, it does something else. It creates distance. Emotion becomes dangerous. Attachment becomes a liability. Control starts to feel like safety. He learns early that intelligence alone is not rewarded. The world rewards dominance. And if you cannot dominate people, you learn to dominate systems. Home does not offer refuge. His parents divorce. His relationship with his father becomes strained and painful, a source of emotional pressure he will later describe as deeply damaging. So he adapts. Isolation becomes familiar. Solitude becomes productive. And somewhere in that quiet, a belief begins to form, not consciously but instinctively. If the world feels chaotic, inefficient, and cruel, maybe the problem is not human nature. Maybe the problem is design, and design can be changed. By his teenage years, something becomes clear to Elon. If he stays here, he will shrink, not intellectually, not creatively, but structurally. South Africa feels distant from the centers of technological momentum, disconnected from innovation, far from the systems shaping the future he reads about. Ambition needs oxygen, and here it is running out. This is not teenage rebellion. It is strategic awareness. At 17, he leaves. There is no dramatic farewell, no triumphant escape, just a decision made quietly and executed. Canada becomes the exit route, not because it represents opportunity, but because it represents possibility. Using his mother's citizenship, he gets out. And what waits for him is not comfort. It is labor, heavy, physical work, cleaning industrial boilers, carrying equipment, living cheaply, saving obsessively. This period matters far more than it appears, because it teaches Elon something fundamental about risk. When you learn that discomfort does not kill you, fear loses its power. When comfort becomes optional, you can move faster than people who are protecting stability. Most people are trapped not by lack of intelligence, but by dependence on comfort. Elon is learning how to live without it. Eventually, he reaches the United States. To Elon, America is not an emotional idea. It is not a dream. It is a system that rewards ambition, speed, scale, and risk if you are willing to accept volatility. He enrolls at the University of Pennsylvania, studying physics and economics. This pairing is not accidental. Physics explains how reality behaves. Economics explains how power flows. One tells you what is possible, the other tells you who controls it. Together, they form a lens Elon will use for the rest of his life. Even here, among high-achieving students, he stands apart. He is not chasing grades. He is not planning a safe career. He is mapping leverage. He is asking questions most people don't ask yet. Which systems will matter in 20 years? Which bottlenecks will decide who wins and who adapts? Where will control concentrate next? 3 answers dominate his thinking: the internet, energy, and space, not as industries, as constraints. Civilizations do not collapse because of lack of ideas. They collapse because of bottlenecks: communication bottlenecks, energy bottlenecks, expansion bottlenecks. Elon becomes obsessed with removing them, not with policy, not with persuasion, with infrastructure, because infrastructure outlives arguments. By the late 1990s, the internet is still fragile. Connections fail. Pages load slowly. Most businesses see it as a side project, useful but not essential. To many, it feels temporary. To Elon, it feels inevitable. He doesn't see websites. He sees a nervous system forming underneath society, a layer that will eventually carry money, communication, influence, and power. This is why Stanford never feels right. He arrives surrounded by theory, long timelines, and academic patience, and almost immediately something feels wrong. Not because the work lacks intelligence, but because it lacks urgency. The internet is moving faster than institutions, and Elon has already learned what happens when systems move slowly. They get replaced. So he leaves. After 2 days, not dramatically, not defiantly, practically. Zip 2 begins quietly. No grand vision statements, No press, just a simple idea. Help newspapers publish maps and local content online. It doesn't sound revolutionary, but it is, because it removes dependence on legacy gatekeepers. Information no longer needs permission. Life inside the company is stripped to basics. Sleep when you can, work constantly, repeat. Elon sleeps on the office floor, showers at the YMCA. Money is always close to running out. This period does something important to his psychology. It teaches him that discomfort is survivable, and survivability is leverage. When Zip2 sells in 1999, the number shocks people, hundreds of millions. Elon is 27, financially free. This is where most stories end. But for Elon, this is where the real experiment begins. X.com is not about banking. It is about friction. Why should money move slower than information? Why should trust require buildings, counters, and office hours? Why should borders matter digitally? The idea is too early. Internal conflicts explode. Boards form. Politics replaces engineering, and Elon loses control. He is removed as CEO. This moment leaves a scar because he learns a painful truth. Building a system does not mean you control it. Governance matters. Power dynamics matter. Human behavior matters. PayPal succeeds anyway. When it sells to eBay, Elon walks away with more money than he has ever imagined. But he also walks away sharper, less idealistic, more dangerous. Now he understands power, and now he has capital. With financial freedom secured, Elon faces a choice most people never do: preserve the win or risk everything. He chooses risk, not casually, all in. He pours nearly all his money into two industries that destroy fortunes with remarkable efficiency: automotive manufacturing and aerospace. Tesla is mocked. Electric cars are slow, ugly, impractical. SpaceX is dismissed entirely. Rockets don't forgive mistakes. They explode. Failures come fast. Launches fail publicly. Money disappears quietly. By 2008, pressure collapses inward. SpaceX rockets explode on the launch pad. Tesla bleeds cash daily. The global financial crisis freezes capital. Everything fails at once. Elon's marriage ends. Sleep disappears. Isolation deepens. This is not cinematic suffering. This is quiet, grinding pressure. He later admits this is the lowest point of his life, not because of money, but because now the risk is public. Failure will not be private. It will be definitive. One final SpaceX launch remains. If it fails, SpaceX dies. Tesla follows. The rocket launches. It works. NASA steps in. Contracts arrive. Tesla survives long enough to breathe. The world barely notices. But something fundamental changes. Elon Musk is no longer someone with ideas. He is someone who has survived catastrophic risk and learned he can push further than most people ever will. After near collapse, Elon stops playing defense. He stops asking if industries can change. He assumes they must. Tesla becomes something very different from a car company. It becomes a vertically integrated system: batteries, software, manufacturing, charging, data. Legacy automakers build vehicles. Tesla builds ecosystems. Cars improve after purchase. Software rewrites performance overnight. Factories become battlefields. Automation fails. Robots malfunction. Humans replace machines. Elon sleeps on factory floors, not for symbolism, but for control. Because he believes factories are machines that build machines, and whoever controls that machine controls scale. At SpaceX, the same philosophy applies. Rockets are expensive because they are disposable. Elon treats that assumption as laziness. When boosters land vertically, it looks impossible. Then it becomes normal. Launch costs collapse. Frequency increases. Access to space expands. Governments quietly become dependent. Then comes Starlink. Thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit. Internet becomes portable. In war zones, connectivity becomes survival. Infrastructure becomes political the moment people depend on it. Neuralink pushes further. The brain becomes interface. Medicine first, enhancement later. The ethical alarms sound early, but Elon's logic does not change. If it's possible, someone will build it. Better to be early than irrelevant. As Elon's companies scale, something else begins to happen quietly. His presence stops being optional. Markets don't just react to earnings anymore. They react to sentences. A single post moves billions. A joke shifts valuation. A late-night message forces regulators to respond the next morning. This is new territory. No CEO before him has operated this close to the public nervous system. At first, it looks chaotic, unfiltered, uncontrolled. But there is a pattern underneath. Elon does not treat communication as image management. He treats it as system pressure. He applies stress to see what breaks. Institutions struggle with this. Regulators prefer predictability. Corporations prefer scripts. Public figures are expected to be cautious. Elon refuses that role. Then comes Twitter. At the time, the platform is already unstable. Trust is eroding. Moderation is political. Algorithms quietly shape discourse. Elon does not buy Twitter because it is profitable. He buys it because it is central. It is where journalists argue, where politicians perform, where narratives form in real time. It is not media. It is infrastructure. When he takes control, the reaction is immediate. Employees panic. Advertisers retreat. Governments express concern. Mass firings follow. Entire departments vanish overnight. Rules are rewritten publicly, sometimes impulsively. To outsiders, it looks reckless. But internally, Elon is doing something familiar. He is breaking a system down to its core components, removing layers, removing buffers, removing social insulation. He wants to see what remains when friction is removed. The result is instability, but also clarity. Speech becomes raw. Conflict becomes visible. Control becomes obvious. For the first time, people confront an uncomfortable reality. A single individual now controls a platform capable of shaping elections, markets, and global discourse, not through force, not through law, but through ownership. And ownership, once established, does not need permission. Elon's thinking has always been oriented toward edges, not comfort, not stability, but edges where systems fail and collapse begins. Artificial intelligence sits directly on that edge. To Elon, AI is not science fiction. It is compression. Compression of skill, compression of decision-making, compression of power. It scales capability faster than culture can adapt. Governments move in years. Institutions move in decades. AI moves in months. That gap is dangerous, not because machines become evil, but because optimization outruns understanding. Elon speaks often about alignment, not as a technical problem, but as a civilizational one. What happens when systems pursue goals humans did not fully define? What happens when efficiency becomes more important than judgment? And yet, Elon doesn't step away from AI. He steps closer. Because he doesn't trust restraint. He doesn't trust competitors to slow down. He doesn't trust governments to regulate in time. He doesn't trust global coordination to hold. So he stays inside the race, not to win glory, but to avoid being irrelevant in a future he believes is unavoidable. Mars follows the same logic, not as fantasy, not as ego, as redundancy. Engineers understand something most people don't like to think about. Single points of failure always fail. Civilizations are no different. Earth is one system, one climate, one biosphere, one political sphere, all fragile. Mars represents an idea more than a destination, a second node, a place where failure on Earth does not equal extinction. To many, this sounds extreme. To Elon, it sounds responsible, because history does not reward civilizations that assume permanence. Elon Musk is often described in extremes: a savior, a threat, a genius, a liability. But those labels miss the point. Elon Musk is not an answer. He is a question about how much power one individual can accumulate by building faster than society can respond. A question about whether infrastructure should be owned or governed. A question about whether speed is progress or simply acceleration toward consequences we do not yet understand. History will not judge Elon Musk by his intentions. It never does. It will judge outcomes. Whether humanity became more resilient or more brittle, whether power became more distributed or more concentrated, whether systems served people or people adapted to systems. And that judgment will not arrive in headlines. It will arrive quietly, years from now, decades from now, when the systems he built are no longer optional, when dependence is complete, when choice has narrowed. Only then will the full weight of his decisions become clear. Because the future is not something we vote on once, it is something we inherit. And Elon Musk has already written large parts of it, not with speeches, not with promises, but with systems that do not ask permission. AI-powered studio.